Local attorney fined $1,000 for contempt of court. Plans to dredge Melville Hall River following the impact of flooding on airport operations on Tuesday. And the relevance of corporal punishment in the education system under discussion. I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. The details after this. First up, Dominican attorney Henry Shillingford has been fined $1,000 after he was found guilty of contempt in the face of the court. The fine is to be paid by the 2nd of April. In default, he could be jailed for 14 days. Shillingford was cited for contempt in the face of the court by Justice Errol Thomas after he made certain comments while the bailiff was about to adjourn court. According to the court records, he said, among other things, the court was not motivated by justice. His lawyer, Cara Shillingford, apologized for his comments, saying he never intended to be disrespectful to the court and he is just an overly passionate person. Shillingford also apologized, saying that her client had the greatest respect for the judge and the court and was accepting his wrong and was contrite. In his decision, Justice Thomas said that the court does not accept the reasons for his behavior and his apology was a mere mitigation. More top stories now. Following massive flooding at Douglas Charles Airport on Tuesday, the Ministry of Public Works has planned to dredge the Melville Hall River. Heavy rain in the northeast caused Melville Hall River to overflow its banks, affecting operations to some extent at the Douglas Charles Airport. By noon on Wednesday, the airport was officially reopened as it welcomed a scheduled commercial flight, according to a statement by the Ministry of Public Works and Ports. All essential services have also been fully restored. Contrary to what a source within the airport told us Tuesday, a statement by the Ministry of Public Works and Ports confirmed that the airport was temporarily closed late Tuesday afternoon due to flooding, which affected the ground floor of the airport terminal. In addition to further improving the safety at Douglas Charles Airport, dredging of the Melville Hall River will commence as soon as the level of the river recedes. Airport personnel have said, following an assessment, that the runway and aircraft parking areas were not affected. A $31 million AC project is ongoing to rehabilitate damage caused at the airport by Tropical Storm Erica last year. The project includes restoration of the runway, resurfacing of the apron and taxiways, drainage along the runway, repairs to the access road and construction of retaining walls along the river, rehabilitation of the damaged road leading to Wesley. Work is expected to be completed by June 2016. The Ministry of Public Works and Ports has apologized for any inconvenience caused as a result of the closure of Douglas Charles Airport. On to health now. A more committed drive from the Ministry of Health is expected to control the rat and mice population. Chief Environmental Health Officer Anthony Scotland says in the future more emphasis will be placed on management of rodents.
National Pests also have been doing treatment using poison and rodenticides in different areas in the city. So over even the last 3-4 years, we have been doing extensive baiting in the Roseau and its suburbs, and also in the Portsmouth area. What we're going to be doing in the future is to actually bait within a block, where we can actually analyze when we bait, put a bait. You will now come and evaluate. It's like you have what they call bait stations. So you actually use bait stations, you put your bait there, and then you replenish your bait stations every 2 weeks or every 3 weeks. So it has to be done in a more scientific manner.
Scotland says an urban rodent survey to determine the rat and mice population in Roseau and Portsmouth will also assist them in planning their rodent control program.
After we have done the survey, get the amount, get a guesstimate or an estimation of the rodent population, because we do not really have a handle of the amount of rats you have in the country. So we're hoping that kind of survey will give you an idea as to the amount of rodents or rats and mice you have around you.
This will be done in the context of a study to assess the prevalence of leptospirosis. Rodents are one of the carriers of the disease, which resulted in the death of 4 people in 2011.
What we have done at the ministry level is to request for a full proposal for a preventive approach, not just when we have problems and we realize we have a leptospirosis case that we go to baiting. So actually, I have gotten part of a proposal from one department director, the National Termite Pest and Control, but I've discussed already with the chief that they have a combined strategy, which would be an island-wide approach, not just being done in Roseau. And then as soon as we have that proposal together with the findings of that survey, it will guide the policy decision as to what would be the national approach to the preventive aspect of rodents.
Meantime, Chief Vet Officer Dr. Reginald Thomas says due to the threat posed by leptospirosis, measures have to be taken to manage the contagious disease. The veterinary unit of the Division of Agriculture will participate in a leptospirosis study for the next 6 months.
The Ministry of Agriculture, the Vet Services, has a molecular biology lab which has been engaged in leptospirosis work from 2010. So we'll participate from that perspective in conducting all the tests, both in livestock and rodents, for all the samples collected for that project. Statistics will show that we have had deaths caused by leptospirosis. And so it is important to us that we put the management structures in place to ensure that it does not continue to proliferate within our population, our animal population, and of course to get into the human population.
Meantime, the authorities want farmers to keep up their guard to help prevent the spread of the disease.
So you would have a potato patch planted, and you would find several holes burrowed into the ground where these rodents have attacked the potato, they attack passion fruit, they attack cocoa, and so on. So these rodents, by trying to access food, which is the crops that the farmers grow, they also defecate, urinate in the course of doing their activities. And we have to improve and increase our level of hygiene in terms of when products come from the farm, you must wash it. I do not know if the Ministry of Health would recommend maybe a chlorine solution or something that can probably get rid of the organism.
Still in health, an increase of over $250,000 in Dominica's hospital drug budget is being seen as the way to better help treat glaucoma on the island. Ophthalmologist Dr. Hazel Shillingford-Rickett says Dominicans have two significant risk factors which make glaucoma common among the population.
Glaucoma in Dominica is very prevalent. It is estimated to be about 12% because, as you know, in Dominica we have a very high percentage of our population are elderly people. We're also black, which is another risk factor. Aging and being black are two of the major risk factors, and so you would expect glaucoma to be very prevalent in our population.
Glaucoma is a condition of increased pressure within the eyeball, causing the gradual loss of sight. Rickett says new and improved drugs are available, though costly, and assistance is made available to those who purchase drugs to treat glaucoma.
Because the patients require medications to control their disease. And although we provide some of the medications free of charge in the health, in the primary health sector, most of the newer and more effective eye medications are not provided free of charge. I hope in the near future we will be able to provide these medications to the patients free of charge, but it is not without a cost. We have already looked at the costing, and it will increase our drug budget at the hospital by over $250,000, in addition to the other costs they have that are incurred to provide care at the hospital.
The doctor says the health sector is well positioned to help those afflicted with the disease.
So we have a universal coverage and access to eye care in Dominica, and hence screening and treatment of glaucoma likewise. Other programs that assist us with glaucoma is the policy by the government where patients 18 and younger and patients 60 and older get their treatment at the hospital free of charge. The clients of Yes We Care cannot look after themselves, and so having been provided a caregiver, then they have someone who can put their eye drops for them and could also arrange to take them to the clinics to have their eye examined.
Dominica joined the international community in observing World Glaucoma Week from March 6 to 12. You're watching Channel 5 News. Coming up, collaboration continues in the fight against child sexual abuse. The Bureau of Gender Affairs has commended government for meeting with church leaders in an effort to eradicate the scourge of child sexual abuse. The Bureau of Gender Affairs is undertaking a 3-year social mobilization campaign and also plans on reaching out to church leaders and other influential organizations.
We also plan to engage our policymakers in discourse, about the issue. And I'm happy that the Prime Minister took the initiative recently to engage the church people. So that's, to me, I saw it as a way that opening up. If you have this high-profile person, the Prime Minister engaging the church already in discussion, it makes it easy for the Bureau when we call on these people that they will respond as well to, and that we can put plans in place that we can really address this issue. Because it's something, as I said, that affects every one of us. So we each have a responsibility to educate and to create that awareness around the issue of gender-based violence and sexual abuse.
The Bureau started a workshop this week targeting theatre practitioners, hoping to enlist them in the fight against gender-based violence. Paul says the aim is to target a wide cross-section of Dominicans to bring about awareness and behavioral change in the country.
We've already started engaging the school, and 16 Days of Activism was a platform for that. We have plans of training young women and young girls, targeting some of the schools where you have problematic, some areas and things, because, it's something that sometimes we play a blind eye to it until it really escalates and gets out of hand. But really, what we want to see is a change. Because the statistics are really alarming, and it's really painful. It's really painful that we live in this island where we boast of hospitality and we boast of brotherhood, and everything we mention about Dominica, we put God in it, and so then that spirituality aspect of us should really come out.
And the acting chief education officer says corporal punishment should be seen as a last resort, and there are alternative methods to disciplining children. Over the years, there have been calls to remove corporal punishment from Dominica's Education Act. However, some are of the view that this stipulation should remain.
On the issue of corporal punishment, although it is on the books, so it is legal for us in Dominica, but because of the strategies that we have been using, we have been promoting alternative disciplinary practices. So we are saying that the Education Act says that corporal punishment is a last resort. Make it a last resort, because there are so many strategies that you can use to discipline children that does not have to involve corporal punishment. And so we are actually seeing a decrease in the use of corporal punishment in our schools.
Fontaine says Dominicans need to be aware of the implications of corporal punishment on children.
I think the majority of Dominicans believe in corporal punishment. They like to use the biblical saying, spare the rod and spoil the child. So I think it's a conversation that we must have in Dominica, but people have to understand that there is a fine line between discipline and child abuse. We have to really rethink this thing, look at what the research is saying, look at what is happening internationally, and for us to determine whether we want to keep it on our books. Because really and truly, a spanking can actually become violence against a child. And we have had instances where we have had deaths as a result of it. We cannot as a society live like that.
On the issue of abuse, the acting chief education officer says there is protocol in place to deal with these incidents when they occur.
Because of the programs that we have in the schools, then we find out about it. Once we find out about it, our school system, our principals, teachers, counselors have an obligation to report to the welfare, and according to what it is, the police has to be involved and so on. So there is a protocol in place for reporting of incidences and for addressing the issues with the child and providing support for the child.
The Ministry of Education, in collaboration with UNICEF, is currently hosting a series of child-friendly schools workshops. The goal is to influence attitudes about child safety, bullying, corporal punishment, and child sexual abuse. In other news now, cooperation between Dominica and one of its French neighbors is expected to deepen through the education sector. Andrea Louis reports.
Speaking at the Primary Schools French Festival on Wednesday, Minister for Education said that stronger relations between Dominica and Martinique can help bolster the learning of French on the island. Dominica is joining the rest of the Francophone community in observing Francophone Month this month.
In fact, recently we renewed a 3-year-old education cooperation agreement between the Academy of Martinique and the Ministry of Education and Human Resource Development. This is an agreement which facilitates learning French and English between the two islands. And I believe that it gives us the opportunity to allow our teachers to go across to Martinique and teach the French language, and in turn, Martinican teachers will come to Dominica to teach the French language to our Dominican students.
This year marks the 37th year that Dominica has been part of the Francophone community. Serja says the Ministry of Education is taking steps to ensure that all primary school pupils benefit from the learning of the French language.
Within the Ministry of Education, we are fully aware of the necessity of teaching our students a foreign language. And French is taught in 90% of our schools from K to grade 6. In fact, the teaching of French language is compulsory in our schools as stipulated in the National School Curriculum Framework. We know that multilingualism has become extremely beneficial.
Teachers and pupils were urged to use technology to assist in the teaching and learning of French in schools.
French is being taught in at least 54 of our 59 primary schools. I want the teachers to, in addition to being in the classroom and teaching the children, I would like to call on the teachers to incorporate as much as possible technology in helping to learn the French. So teachers, you don't have to do it alone. The children, most of them have smartphones, most of them have computers at their home, most of them have access to some form of technology. Use it and help the children.
During the French Festival, the top performing pupils in French were awarded, as well as long-serving French teachers. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
That's news. Sports highlights next with Kenny Williams.
Hello everyone, and here are your sports highlights. Cricket takes the first knock. It was the West Indies' first day at the T20 World Cup when the team went head-to-head with England in Mumbai. England batted first, scoring 182 for 6, Joe Root 48, Joe Butler 30, Alex Hales 28 and E. Morgan 27. Andre Russell and Dwayne Bravo took 2 wickets each for West Indies. A century by Chris Gayle helped the Windies with their reply of 183 for 4, winning that match by 6 wickets with 11 balls remaining. West Indies' next match is scheduled for March 20 against Sri Lanka in India. In football, 9 matches are carded for the Dominica Football Association's All-Island League, which began Wednesday. The Benjamin's Park, Poirier, and the Newtown playing fields are the venues for the league. Gerald George has a football roundup.
Dr. Darrow All-Stars of Petit Savant taking on South City United of Grand Bay at the Poirier playing field from 6 p.m. While in a doubleheader at the Newtown playing field, Digicel Newtown Juvenile Academy will come up against Haitian Angels at 5 p.m. to be followed by Bath State Football Club versus Goodwill All-Stars at 7 p.m. And at the Benjamin Park, Woodford Hill will do battle with East Central Young Boys at 5 p.m. On Thursday, Andy Williams Soufriere Spartans will take on Ray Charles Point Michel Football Club at the Poirier playing field at 5 p.m. While in a doubleheader at the Newtown playing field, Delton United will come up against Daddy Chess Bath Road Ambassadors at 5 p.m. to be followed by ACS Starish United versus Fokole Classics at 7 p.m. And at the Dubla playing field, Buster Warner will do battle with Dubla Football Club at 5 p.m. On Friday, Mao Soka Strikers will come up against Time Ballers Signman Middleham United at 6 p.m. at the Newtown playing field.
Meantime, 4 matches in the opening week of the Dominic Women's League have been postponed to next week due to final preparations being made by the teams. The opening matches featured games between Mao Soka Strikettes and Bombers Starlights, New Generation Stars versus Wood City Strikers, Dive Dominica Harlem United and BR Trumps, and the defending champions New India Goodwill Runners versus Southeast Stars. Going back to cricket, the West Indies and the Pakistan women clashed in some bat and ball action in India on Wednesday. The Windies first at the crease posted 103 for 8. Team captain Stephanie Taylor top scored with 40, while Hayley Matthews and Marissa Aguilera supported with 15 each. Anam Amin and Sadia Yusuf created some trouble for West Indies, picking up 4 for 16 and 2 for 14 wickets respectively. Set 104 for victory, Pakistan fell short of the target, conceding a 4-run victory to the Windies. Pakistan totaled 99 runs in their turn at the crease, with no batswoman scoring more than Bishma Maroof's 22. Anisa Mohammed took 3 for 25 for West Indies. Still in sports, FIFA Development Officer Howard McIntosh says his team is hoping to find more ways to further develop Dominica's football. He met with local media representatives earlier this week.
Through this program, we will be able to provide additional support to the DFA, and we're hoping that after the discussions with the other stakeholders, that ways will be found to get support for the sport generally and for the DFA through other partners, other sponsors, and people like the media.
McIntosh says despite delays, the Goal 2 project should be completed soon.
And we hope that the phases that are currently in progress, which would be the stand, the grassing of the field, and the lighting of the field, will be completed within the next, I would say, the next 5 months or so.
He says delays in the project are not surprising as other Caribbean countries experience similar challenges.
Even though I know everybody's anxious, I can assure you that in other territories, the delays are much, much longer. I won't go into them now, but all I'll say to you, our record in the Caribbean is not that great as it relates to projects and completion of projects. But we feel very confident again that the DFA will be completing the project. And as I said, by the end of this year, we will not only be playing football there, but we will be playing football under lights on a nice grass pitch for now. And that's a hint.
On the basketball scene, Portsmouth Secondary and Dominica Grammar School met at Benjamin's Park for the sports division organized under 20 basketball championship Tuesday. Waterlogged conditions hindered play. However, competition continues Thursday between Portsmouth Secondary and Dominica State College at Benjamin's Park. Starting time is 3 p.m. In primary school sports, Woodford Hill Primary had Maho Primary School under their heel for a 2-goal-to-1 finish in the National Bank of Dominica Primary School's boys football quarterfinal Tuesday. The scores were 0-0 at full and extra time when the schools went to penalty kicks. Meantime, the game carded for Benjamin's Park between Pioneer Preparatory and St. John's Primary was washed out by rain. The final will be played on Tuesday at a venue to be announced. Finally, in sports, the Kubuli Chebe-Sao League opened Tuesday night with 3 games played. In Game 1, Kings Hill Power had 69 doors, 3 points, City 68 doors, 3 points, and Remix 54 doors, 1 point. Game 2 had Maho with 81 doors at 3 points, Simple 73 doors, 2 points, and Attackers 68 doors, 1 point. In the final game of the night, Hurt Them had 92 doors, 3 points, High Roller 54 doors, 2 points, and Homeboys 52 doors, 1 point. That's all the sports for now. I am Kenny Williams. Join us again next time.
Coming up next, Flashback.
Welcome to another segment of Flashback, where we take you way back into news events which occurred in Dominica years ago. We're in a happy celebratory mood this week as we celebrate one of the banks who has served Dominica for guess how many years. Here's our clip. See if you can guess how old this bank is before this clip ends.
The Royal Bank of Canada is celebrating its 84th birthday. As part of the observance, the bank held a Customer Appreciation Day today. The anniversary celebration is focusing mainly on a newly introduced program designed to pay attention to service delivery. That program is called I Make It Happen.
The bank recently introduced customer service standards, and with the customer service standards comes the program I Make It Happen. I Make It Happen means that everything we do as a bank, we do it for the client, to make the client happy.
Were you able to guess? Royal Bank of Canada set foot in Dominica in 1915 and is 101 years this year. As a matter of fact, let's celebrate with the banking sector across Dominica for helping our people and islands progress. Party! I am Janet Delmar Samuel. Join me next week for another segment of Flashback.
Your weather report is next.
Hello, good evening. Welcome to tonight's weather broadcast. I will be your presenter for this evening, Farah Rock Career. Today, a trough system was a dominant feature, resulting in generally cloudy skies across the central portion of the Lesser Antilles. Earlier visible satellite imagery shows the clouds associated with this trough system concentrated over the central portion of the Eastern Caribbean. Radar imagery of this afternoon indicated the shower activity associated with this trough system concentrated again over the central portion of the islands. The weather tonight is expected to be mostly cloudy with showers, and these conditions will persist into tomorrow. Residents in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks, please do continue to exercise caution. The marine conditions tomorrow will be moderate, and waves are expected to be up to 7 feet. Let's take a look at the weather for the next 3 days. Tomorrow, Thursday, mostly cloudy with some showers. However, an improvement is expected Friday and Saturday as the high pressure system is expected to reestablish itself. For the rest of the Caribbean tomorrow, again, mostly cloudy skies with some showers can be expected for the rest of the Caribbean as the trough system will continue to affect weather conditions there. On the international scene, partly cloudy skies across New York, Miami, and Caracas, and clear skies for London and Beijing. The sun will rise tomorrow at 6:11 a.m. and will set at 6:16 p.m. Feel free to visit our website at weather.gov.dm or call the weather hotline at 447-5555. Join us tomorrow evening for your next weather broadcast. Thank you.
To end the news, the headlines again. Local attorney fined $1,000 for contempt of court. Plans to dredge Melville Hall River following the impact of flooding on airport operations on Tuesday, and the relevance of corporal punishment in the education system under discussion. Feel free to contact us at news@MarpinNewsMarch16th2k16. You can watch our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris, and to all our viewers around the world, thanks for watching. Join us tomorrow.